It's late June, summer is here, and if you started something in January that didn't make it to this point, I want to offer you a reframe before you decide what that means about you. The restart cycle isn't a motivation problem, it isn't a discipline problem, and it isn't evidence of something fundamentally lacking in you. It's a stability problem, and stability is something that can actually be built. The fitness industry has been giving women the same diagnosis for decades. You're not consistent because you don't have enough motivation. You're not consistent because you lack discipline. You're not consistent because you don't want it badly enough. So the solution becomes finding more motivation, more discipline, stronger commitment, better accountability, higher stakes at the start. But here's what the diagnosis gets wrong. Motivation was there at the beginning of every cycle. It showed up reliably, convincingly, every single time. It wasn't absent. It was present and then it faded, which is exactly what motivation does. That's not a failure. That's the nature of motivation. Discipline showed up too. It was real during the stretches when conditions were right and the routine felt sustainable. Neither of those was the actual gap. The problem was never motivation or discipline. The problem was what they had to stand on, and what they had to stand on wasn't stable enough to hold them when real life arrived. The restart cycle is a stability problem. Most fitness routines are built for a version of your life that requires ideal conditions to function. High motivation, open schedule, low stress, everything cooperating. Under those conditions, the routine works. But real life doesn't maintain ideal conditions. It sends disruptions on a schedule you can't predict. A hard week at work, an emotional stretch, illness, exhaustion, the accumulated weight of everything that doesn't pause because you have a fitness plan. When those disruptions hit a routine built only for good conditions, the routine has one response. It collapses, not because you failed it, because it was never engineered to survive what you were handing it. That's a stability problem, and a stability problem has a completely different solution than a motivation problem. And there's a cost to the restart cycle that goes beyond the fitness, and it's the cost that makes each attempt harder than the last. Every time a routine gets abandoned, the brain files it quietly as evidence. Not about fitness specifically, about reliability, about whether this person follows through when things get hard, about whether her commitments to herself mean what she says they mean. One abandoned attempt isn't significant on its own, but the restart cycle doesn't run once. It runs repeatedly, filing the same piece of evidence over and over until the accumulation becomes a belief that she's someone who starts but doesn't finish, that the next attempt probably won't hold either, that the gap between who she is and who she's trying to become is wider than any plan is going to close. That belief is what makes each restart heavier than the last, not the physical starting point, the psychological one. And no new plan addresses it, because no new plan acknowledges that it exists. One more thing worth naming before we get to what actually changes this. Most women in the restart cycle know what to do. The information isn't the problem. The understanding is genuine, and the gap between that understanding and consistent execution stays open anyway. That gap gets internalized as a character issue, a reflection of something lacking. Willpower, follow through, the fundamental capacity to do what needs to be done. But the gap between knowing and doing is almost never a character gap. It's a structural gap. The knowledge exists, but the framework to hold it through a disrupted week was never actually built. You can understand fitness completely and still not have a structure capable of holding that understanding through a hard month. That's not a personal failure. That's an engineering problem. And engineering problems have structural solutions. We're halfway through the year, summer is here, and the pressure to have it together by now is loud. But the restart cycle continues not because of anything lacking in the women who experience it. It continues because the diagnosis has been wrong. and a wrong diagnosis produces a solution that was never going to address the actual cause. That cause is instability. The solution is building a foundation stable enough to hold the routine when motivation fluctuates, when discipline gets tested, when real life arrives without warning. That foundation is what Fit Truth is built around. Not a new plan, not a stronger commitment, a stable structure designed for the life you actually have. The Restart Cycle Breakdown identifies exactly where your specific system breaks down across 5 stages. It's free, and it's the clearest starting point I know of for understanding what's actually driving the cycle. The link is in the description. If you're ready to go further, the Fit Truth Reset Guide is the full implementation framework, also linked below. Start with the breakdown. It names the problem accurately. The guide shows you how to build the solution. I'll see you next week.